No, you're perfect.
I'm supposed to look like a coach.
Yeah.
I can see your whole shirt though. And what does that shirt say, ma'am?
Yes, what does that shirt say?
It says "Getting Slayed" by Coach Natasha.
Yes.
RN.
Hello, brunch breakers. How are you today?
Listen, you see, I'm eating carrots today and being good because the coach is here.
You're being good. You're being good.
Chef is here.
Okay, so what we're gonna start with? Now we know we've all been home. It's the holidays, and we've been saying that we're gonna remain healthy and exercise, but the truth is hard. It's very hard.
Listen,
isn't it, Kaz?
Listen, difficulty on 11. 1 out of 10 is an 11.
Exactly. And what were we doing in the beginning of the pandemic? What was going on in the beginning, Kaz?
So crunch. Because yes. I don't know if carrots was the best choice. So, Coach Natasha, dope trainer, nurse, superhero, all those good things, was like, all right, since she's a nurse and things shifted with the hospital, she was like, all right, I'm going to get up and work out with you guys. And so she scheduled a workout and we would show up on Zoom and get our behinds kicked, sculpted, and all of the above. It shifted this thing in us where we were collectively showing up together to work out. And not only was it a health thing, but it was a heart thing. And to be a fitness minded, like physically fit, mentally fit, because, you know, we laugh and scream and throw things at the Zoom because Sasha's like, okay, and now you need to do 1,000 of these. I'm sorry, ma'am. I love you, but no, absolutely not. I'm not doing 1,000 of those. You are crazy. But you see that? Look at what she brought to the show. You see the slight arm flex.
You see the
exactly.
Like, self promotion.
Look, my arms are giving you pew pew. She's like,
when I got the hit, I mean, this was wonderful in the beginning of the pandemic to do this with Sasha, Coach Sasha. But my first taste of it is when we went on vacation in North Carolina, and she had us get up in the morning
on vacation.
Work. It was like, what the?
Right, and early in the morning on vacation.
You get to go around for the rest of the day.
The text notifications start. Pew, 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 pew. I was like, what is happening?
I didn't know the extent of her capabilities. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. And then when I experienced that, I said, oh.
Like after the first day, you're like, you know what? I'm actually really tired. I'm actually going to stay in bed today because I was there yesterday when you abused us.
In so we go, Kaz and I go back, move away from them in the middle of high school. I continue. And my grade points or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm done with that. What else can I do? So I jumped into that, made some friends that I still talk. I just fell in love with.
She continues to flex on us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of athletes, like when if they get injured, it starts shifting their mind to, ooh, I wonder if I could study, athletic training, or I wonder if I could study, medicine or physical therapy. Because at one point, like physical therapy was something that I was looking hard at too. And after getting the bachelor's degree, and that didn't quite pan out the way I wanted it to, but God has a path and he's like, okay, I want you right here. But it was still
where you need to be. Mm-hmm.
Right. With biomechanics, it was still something that, applied all the things that I think an athlete maybe gets interested in when it comes to, the anatomy, the physiology, the chemistry, all the things that go behind.
Do you kind of get to follow that dream vicariously through those athletes?
Oh man, I did when I got to go to Rio and see some of them compete. So that was pretty awesome. So yeah, one of the places that I worked the longest at was a place called St. Vincent Sports. No, Indianapolis is the national sports governing body, diving, USA track and field. So I learned like a ton of things there. So I was fortunate to be able to work with track and field athletes, NFL combine athletes, and it's for each and every athlete. You look at the biomechanics background comes into play. So say, for example, when I got a group of divers, little baby divers that some of them have already been to the Olympics, and I'm training them. I'm like, man, this is a massive task here.
But I wanted to ask you, Coach Natasha,
Yeah.
how do you stay focused on a healthy journey during all of this, during this COVID?
Because we're closing out the gargantuan thing that has been 2020. And we're trying to figure out, okay, so how do we pivot and move into 2021 stronger and healthier? And you know, what are some tips for people who are looking at making a shift without showing my baby's business?
Baby. Gosh, we've seen so much of really what it takes, I think, in this year. This year has absolutely, we've seen like a lot of crazy stuff. We've seen some pitfalls. We've had some knockdowns, some dragouts. We've had people medicate themselves with food and with liquor. And, you know,
we did that today too. No.
All the things. But the main thing really with any, the main thing with any program, the main thing in life in general, there is no secret pill. It's when you get knocked down, get back up.
Amen.
Don't stay down. You will have pitfalls. The first week of March, I'm like stuffing my face full of like cookies because me and the girls are stuck in the house and they want to make cookies every day. I mean, it's horrible choices, right? But you know, it's like, okay, I got 2, 3 bad, 4, maybe 5, maybe a week of bad days. and it's like, you got to stop and think, do I want to stay?
Experience.
It's human nature. It's human nature. You know, but you come to that realization of, man, I don't want to stay like this, or I don't want to stay down. So the decision is, well, what do I do about it? You pick it up one day at a time. And I know Fab, I know you've been picking up your workouts one day at a time, and literally you've been checking in with us.
I'm so freaking sore right now. I'm so sore.
Yes.
My arms, I'm like, it was poor. And I was like, no.
But that is 100% what you do.
Yeah, because I stopped.
What you do.
I started with you guys in the beginning, and I stopped, then I stopped for a while. I got into depression, and it just went, and I just couldn't get out of it. And then I'm doing a show now.
Yeah. Because that's like our last week's episode, we talked about grief. Yeah. And we were like, it's such a weird topic to be discussing during the holidays, but here we are, because the reality of how it affects your holiday season, how it affects your journey, how it affects each aspect, and how little we talk about it. And like, I think a lot of people this year are grieving all the things they thought 2020 was going to be.
Yeah.
And like, not to deep dive into that, not to get stuck in that place. And
we have a tendency to stay in the past too. And we're stuck in that because of all this that happened, we kind of feel, if this didn't happen, I would be whatever. And we don't know that, because it's not what this is what it is right now.
Yeah. And that's all God promises you is today. Nothing more than if you get a full day, if you get a full 24 hours. So you got to make those decisions. Am I going to stay down? Am I going to stay, yes, certain things suck. There's people who have lost family members. There's people who, maybe have lost their health. And I'm training a couple of guys right now who they were one of the first ones who were intubated. And I mean, the younger one is just interesting. It's a father-son combo, but the son was intubated for like 3 months. And and in that time, you're laying in a bed, you can't move, you lose muscle, you lose, like, he can't open up a pop can right now. But you know what? I convinced the two of them to, hey, let me come in here, let me train you, let me get you back to health. So we're doing it one day at a time. And his grip strength that I tested at the beginning of the 6 weeks, from where he looks at the end of the 6 weeks, has exponentially increased, because he showed up, and he showed up, and he did what he could over the pattern of twice a week for 6 weeks. And literally, guys, there's no secret pill. It's getting your body going and just keep going. Try not to quit. You drop off one day, come back the next day. You drop off 2 days, you find your point where you're like, all right, I'm tired of being tired, and just get right back on the bus. One foot in front of the other, one rep at a time, one stretch, one, whatever it is, that's your jam, one swimming stroke, one walk. You know what I mean? Just continue it. Don't quit. Just keep going. Keep a path going.
I think we don't give enough credit to the difference that showing up, how it shows up in your body mentally, like how it changes your countenance, how it changes your outlook, how being able to breathe in and breathe out better changes the way you face each day. When you get up in the morning and you're sore because of the work and not sore because of the lack of it.
Yeah.
It's a game changer. Yeah.
And even still talking about like the mental piece too, your body, the chemical reactions of what happens when you exercise, your body releases endorphins, those feel good catecholamines. And that right there, I get my best ideas when I'm out for a run. Like you're just oxygenating everything. Like you're going to feel better. Like some people are like, I hate doing certain things. If you hate burpees, don't do burpees. Look, do something else.
Burpees.
Do squats. If you hate squat, do yoga. Just do something, because by moving our bodies are made to move. By moving your body's going to give back that feel good hormone, and you're just going to have inspiration. You're going to feel better. The depression will go away for a little bit. Not saying that it's going to make your problems better, but your body is going to physically give back love to you with that. So
yes. Look, I think you hit a nerve.
Okay, so Coach Tasha, you are a nurse, wife, a mom, coach. How do you do it all? Like, how do you do it all? Like,
I was saying a wing and a prayer.
How do you do it?
No, honestly, like part of it is the whole complex of not being able to say no. But then I have, there's been times where guys like, all right, I told you to sit down somewhere. So boo. So y'all know me right now, I'm getting over the virus myself. Had to sit still for 10 days. And it just makes you go back to, okay, God, like, where do I need to adjust? Where do I need to balance? Because balance is like, it's a fluid thing, because as more people start, as you start saying, okay, yeah, I am going to pick up training. Then you're like, okay, well, what if people don't come? Oh, bam, I get hit with 10 calls that day. Oh, I want to get in. Can I get in? Can I get in? You're like, you want to say yes so bad. So it's a constant, like, fluid thing of God saying, okay, like, sit down, write this out on paper and piece what you're trying to piece together. But at the same time, factor in that you don't want to subtract from family. You don't want to subtract from your kids' time. You don't want to subtract from your sleep. How about that? Because if you do, I'm going to pay you back by making you get sick or forcing you to sit down somewhere. So it's not perfect. I don't have a perfect system, but I definitely, like, anytime I want to take something else more on, I stop and I like pray really quick about it. Like, hey, God, okay, this is approved. Like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Because, ultimately all this is for him. It's a ministry of giving back, because these are the gifts that he gave me. So, yeah, it's not a perfect system, but I do have like a little bit of an old school, like, pen and paper, like, write it down in time blocks.
I love it.
That's how we ended up doing the 40 by 40 list, because you are that person that's like, let's write a plan and make it plain.
Yeah. Put it on paper.
And the irony of the 40 by 40 the irony of the 40 by 40 culminating during a global pandemic was like, God was like, listen,
that's interesting.
Let me see what you do, like how you pivot.
Right.
You made a plan, and if you're committing it to me, then is it gonna look like how it may not look the way you thought it was gonna look, but I got you.
Said word.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
On point. That whole, like, we make plans and God laughs thing is for real.
Listen.
If you don't present your request to him, he's gonna be like, oh, did you think that was a good idea?
But it's amazing how many of the things on the 40 by 40 list that I ended up doing by accident. And then I realized, whoa, that's crazy. How many of the things I accomplished in that space of God being like, how about you sit down somewhere?
Yeah. Right.
And how often, because that's the thing, I noticed you listed off 87 different things that were important and that were your focus, and you didn't say Tasha.
Right.
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 Right. And so it's like in the midst, because when you explain how do you do it all, and you said a wing and a prayer, because it's like, I'm going to handle all these things for other people and trust that God will take care of me. And like you said, in the midst of God taking care of you, he was like, have several seats, ma'am.
Right. Right.
You won't do it for yourself. Right.
Right. Right.
About what you thought you were doing next week. You're going to be binge watching TV shows.
Exactly. You're going to be in your house for 14 days and sit down.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, it will happen. If you don't do it yourself, he will do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Really
and
important.
I always ask my brunch bakers, what's your superpower? What do you think your superpower is?
No, I didn't come prepared to answer for that one.
Well, you know it's brunch, so we just want your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whatever's on your heart.
Whatever's on the heart, whatever. You balance very well, but
yeah, girl.
I'm gonna let you answer that.
Okay. I would just say.
It's funny. I've known you long enough that I'm like, I know what she's gonna say. Even
you know what I'm gonna say.
I know what she's gonna say. Go for what
maybe. Just drive. I would say my drive, just to keep, like I can't sit still. Just I gotta do something. It's not for my family. It's for someone else, or just gosh, I have what? How many degrees now? I mean,
how many do you have,
girl?
Oh, let's see.
And I still struggle if I want to go back or not. I'm like,
I know, right?
I got one. I'm not as cool. I can't stand
the debt is real. Now I've got 2 bachelors and a master's. I have several certifications. I just got one of my 40x40s. I hit another certification for operating room nursing. So really, it's just a drive, just to keep going, just not be stagnant. Yeah, just not be stagnant. So
and usually, what drives you is not even like what drives you specifically. Usually, isn't about you. And so you're very passionate about the bigger picture, about showing up for people. Like the fact that you went into medicine and it was like happenstance that you were coming off an injury. But in coming off the injury, you were like, how can I help other people? How can I help other people? How can I help other people? And so in the way that you show up for other people, like what you're driven by is not it's community almost.
Yeah.
Like the being in service, like you said, in the gifts that God has given you, being in service to other people. And so, in the midst of that, we always tease you about making sure that you don't forget about you. And it's like, yes, obviously God is going to cover you and consistently show up for you. And I think this is one of those that as I minister to you, I minister to myself, because me and Fab are both like,
Yeah.
But it's that in the taking a moment to show up for you in however way best suits you, you show up better for every other thing that you show up to do. And so it is okay to make room and I was like, here's the crazy part. Look. I was like, this is the one that I'm afraid that I might, like my eyelashes are gonna come off. I was like,
lashes gonna start coming off.
I was like, last week we talked about grief. And then we're going to talk to Tasha the week following talking about grief. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Because you think about like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But you think about all the things that we face every day, all the things that we've been through, and like the gift that it has been to show up for each other in the midst of reminding each other to show up for ourselves has literally been the silver lining in all of it. Like I always joke about the way my cloud of witnesses is set up.
Okay.
Like, there is, and so it is really like speaking life into those things, speaking life into each other, because like the way that you are passionate and racing towards like your goals and your vision and your dreams, like I've never been in a situation where you didn't hook up. You know how people say you're hanging on to somebody's coattails? It's like, no, Tasha put on freaking snow tires and like linked all of us into it. Like, let's go.
Let's go.
Like, I'm not going where I'm going without. And so like the benefit of being linked in that way is that it pulls all of us, and all of us started to run together. So on the days where I couldn't do it, you guys did it. On the days where you couldn't do it, we did it. On the days, and so like having that support system when you're talking about making a life change, that is fitness, because we've been up and down and up and down and up and down, but it's like that little reminder where you're like, okay, I know you haven't done it in 18 days, but today is a new day.
Today's a new day. That's right. That's
yes,
right.
Coach Tasha.
Yes, Coach Tasha.
That's right.
Love
Progress
it.
isn't always.
Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna just say, you got it nailed on the head. It's not done in solidarity. It's done with your sisters. It's done with your tribe. Like you, Fab, again, you're checking in with us because we're your accountability partners. You cannot do it alone. I'm going to say y'all are my iron sharpening iron, baby.
Look, we wasn't ready. Dear Lord, I would like Natasha's.
And don't let us show her ass. Don't let us show her ass.
Listen.
I'll show you that.
Listen. But another thing that I love about you is that I've never seen anybody work harder, but I've also never seen anybody play harder. And I love that. The laughter,
You're having fun with it all.
Yeah.
You're having fun with it.
You genuinely enjoy it.
What you're doing when you're doing what you're supposed to do. God gives us talents and gifts, but when you and those gifts and those talents, when you do what you're supposed to do, you have fun with it.
That's right.
Play.
That's exactly. And we need to work on our 2021 fitness
retreat
at the beach. Yes. Fitness at the beach retreat. Yes.
So that's one of those dreams. That's one of those dream space things for us is to put together the fitness retreats where, because like we do it. No, yeah, but because so we've been doing it for years. When like this will be the first year in what 5 years maybe.
Yeah,
this will be that we didn't get together.
Oh, you're talking about the yes.
So, that thing. It was the unnamed fitness retreat. Yeah, you were there.
And so like that's been the beautiful thing is that like my favorite part of. So we would get up at the crack of dawn to watch the sunrise, to walk and pray. And so like, it was something we had started doing. Like I used to do it with our brunch breaker, Renee, at home. So we would get up, walk. She'd walk in North Carolina and I'd be walking in Virginia or wherever I was at. And we would walk, and then Fab would walk with us occasionally. Yes, and so we would get up, walk and pray. In Jersey City. And then so when it was like this crazy thing because we realized, oh my gosh, we're gonna get to do it in person because we're all spread out. And so to get there, to get up, and it's also a great warm up when Tasha is about to brutalize us because we have thanked God for the day and said, please cover us and protect us and about these hamstrings and about and so like that's been one of those things to create a space where we can do it in community. And like I said, in the midst of all the things that have happened, because I want to say the first year that we like committed to was 2016. That was the first year that
the first year. Okay.
Yeah, so we did 2016, 17, 18, and 19. 2020 is the first one we're not.
That's right.
And so literally.
Because I didn't go in 17, I went in 18.
But you went in 16.
I went in 16, the first one.
Yeah.
And so we literally showed up at the beach, and I was maybe a month and a half out of miscarriage. You guys
and my dad had just passed.
That's what I said. You and Lori had just lost your dad.
Yeah.
And like we kind of showed up and like melted onto each other, but in the best possible way. Because if you looked at us from the outside, you would have no clue what was happening in our lives. And I think Fab, you had just changed jobs, right? 2016?
Yeah.
And so all of us were going through so much.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, the way we loved and laughed and cut up and got up in the morning and worked out. And it was just such a safe space. As soon we're going to go outside and turn you into a pop.
Reason, definitely.
Because you got on the snow.
But, okay, so we have... I got all my questions in.
Yes.
I think I did. I did have one, and this is, I know we talked about this a lot, Coach Natasha, about intermediate dieting. Remember
intermittent fasting, yeah.
Oh, intermittent fasting. Okay.
Fasting. And
She's gonna tell us both. You know she's gonna say.
Do you feel, because I started it, we talked about this before, and I'm thinking about going back to it again.
Okay.
But do you think just eating clean is good enough, or should I, what the pros and cons of both of those?
Well, I mean, eating clean is the ideal just lifestyle, period. Yeah. I was gonna say versus following like a fad diet, like just eating clean, whole foods, whatever God planted and produced, not what has been tampered with and added, things added to it and all that jazz, or things taken away, nutrients taken away. That's the better option for long-term success. I mean, intermittent fasting, I mean, there's several types of, there's a ton of diets out there, but I am a fan of it, just because I think the simplicity of being able to just say, okay, I'm going to eat during a certain window and then I'm done is good. And the benefits are good. It's good for, the liver. It's good for the digestive system. There's like tons of things I read about it that are great. And I like the simplicity of it. So, I mean, I think for maybe like a kickstart to get you back to where I think people kind of work good when they have some sort of parameters to just give you guidance and something to start with, like, hey, I have to, do this and this and this or whatever. I think that's great to kickstart, your healthy eating journey. So I wouldn't knock it at all, because again, it's not overly constrictive where you have to measure and this and that and the other. You're just looking at the clock, basically. I don't say staring at the clock all day, but you're basically saying, okay, this is when I will partake and this is when I will not.
Okay.
So I think that's a good way to kind of kickstart things. And then, if you want to live that way forever, you can. There's certain people that do.
Okay.
But
I want to
not, just maintain the clean eating.
Your intake on that, because I know you're down with that, and I wanted you to explain it. So, and you did. And they're going to know. And they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look this up. And you never know. You never know.
And then especially going into the new year, where it's a time where everybody is like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that.
Yeah, and that's not bad to try. It's not a bad thing to try.
I don't think it's bad to try. Now, if you're a person, be contraindicated for someone who has like out of control diabetes, obviously, because you don't want your sugar to tank, that sort of thing. As always, Nurse Natasha, consult with doctor before trying out. Consult with your medical provider.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, ladies.
We love you.
I love you guys too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you for
Natasha.
Bye, Niecy Poo.
Bye.
Love you.
Niecy Poo.
I love your face. I love your face.
Look, she had to take the little headband off because she's like, actually, look, it's Amari. I know. But thank you for your time. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
A peekaboo. Hey, Jay.
And thank you, brunch breakers out there, for sharing with us and on and listening to Coach Tasha.
Yes.
You saw them guns. I'm not putting mine up. I'm not even doing it. Wait till next year, though. Wait until next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making
We're going to all be iron sharpening iron.
That's right. Love you guys so much.
Love you.
Everyone. Mwah.
Say Happy New Year.
Coach Natasha, where can we get all your information? Where are you at?
Oh, absolutely. So my website that was put together by me, and I'm not a website person, but you can go to www.coachnatasharn.com. And I'm also on Instagram as such, and have a Facebook page as well. So Coach Natasha RN.
Get slayed.
Put all the information in the bio.
Yeah.
And I have a YouTube page too. Check out the videos. I'm putting videos up.
Okay. So bye, brunch breakers.
ladies.
Love you. We're going to go play in the snow.